Good afternoon. It is good, actually. It is absolutely blisteringly baking out there today. We're up to Dice and Bolts, where I take a quick look at the core mechanics of the various different role-playing games which I have gracing my shelves. I would say my name's Ross Hawklord, 2112 Kingston, but if you're watching my channel, you kind of know that already. Today, I'm looking at Earthdawn from lots of different companies. Originally, it was FASA Corporation. Then this is the third edition by Flaming Cobra and Red Brick Limited, www.earthdawn.com. Picked up third edition. I have like first edition. I've got a lot of the first edition stuff. I loved the game. It was one of the first games that really kind of sparked my love of this whole exploration of lost civilizations. Common genre I quite like. And I picked up the third edition ones, even though I wasn't intending on running it, because I think Mongoose did a sale a few years ago and it was £10 a book. 5 hardback book was 50 quid. You ain't going to say no to that. Couple of changes to the rules between first and don't think second edition had that many rule changes, but third edition's got a couple of little changes built into it based on the dice that you use. Speaking of dice, let's get the math rocks rolling. It is a roll high system. You have a pool of dice that you roll, which is based on your step in the task that you're going to do. You're rolling versus a static difficulty number, which is a physical defense of the target that you're trying to hit, or the magical defense or the social defense based on how you are interacting with them, or it's a static difficulty number, or you're rolling comparatively if you're doing an opposed test. The step that you use, and this is a core concept of the game itself, you would take the appropriate attributes and your appropriate talent. So say if your attribute step if you want to hit the orc, fairly straightforward. Your attribute step is, say, 7, which is relatively high for a starting character, and you've got 2 ranks in the melee combat talent, then you're using step 9. And then there's a chart, it's on the GM screen and it's common in there. And once you start getting into the game, the conversion of step to dice that you roll is quite straightforward. And they go things like it goes d6, d8, d10, 2d6, 2d8, 2d10, and then it takes it from there. The dice that we use in this game is a set of polyhedrals, somewhat limited. The big change that I mentioned between first and third edition, I didn't get second edition, is that in first edition you would use d4s and d20s as well. Now d20s are massively swingy, and I'd much rather roll 2 d10s than 1 d20 because you've got that nice average curve there. We got the d12s, yes, getting a bit of love for the big dodecahedral boys. We have exploding dice as well. They call it bonus dice. And I said in the video for Open Legend the other day that the first game that I can remember exploding dice featured in was 7th Sea. That's the first time they were called exploding, but you've had bonus dice in this one anyway. So any dice that rolls a maximum in the pool in the hand that you roll, you get to roll and add an additional dice of the same size. That's one of the reasons why they got rid of the d4s, because d4s just explode left, right, and centre because 25% chance. So the way it plays is that, say we have the aforementioned step 9 melee combat skill, which is a d8 and a d6. And if we want to hit a target with the difficulty number of 10, we take it like that. That ain't particularly brilliant. What you also have for less kind of hit or miss ones is there's a table of difficulties based on the results. So you have I think it goes pathetic, poor, average, good, excellent, and extraordinary success. So on a difficulty 10 task, a pathetic is 1 to 5, 6 to 9 is poor. I've got these written down, I don't remember off the top of my head. 10 to 15 is average, 16 to 19 is good, excellent is 20 to 22, and 23 high is extraordinary. On extraordinary hits in combat, for example, you defeat armor. Sometimes you might need a good success, so you don't need to just beat the difficulty number, you need to beat it by a certain amount. And then there's extra narratives for going above and beyond on that one there. All characters have access to a pool of karma points, which when you spend a karma point before you roll and add an extra 6-sided dice for it, and the karma dice explodes as well. Okay. Combat, you've got a 2-step damage system, a little bit slow, a little bit clunky. You make one test like this to hit, and say if we'd have hit the difficulty number 10 character like that one there, you then make a damage test, which is based on strength and your weapons damage step. So again, you could be on 2d6 or 2d8s or whatever, and they again explode. That's the dice and bolts of it. Add an attribute to a talent rank. Skills are somewhat different, but they are there as well. There's a definition between skills and talents. Talents you can weave magic through. Every character in this game's got a bit of magic, another reason why I love the game. So stat plus skill, you might get bonuses here and there. That determines a step number. Step number determines a pool of dice that you roll. Roll the dice, add them together versus a target number. You get better successes by beating it by more points. That's the dice and bolts of the Earthdawn system. Roll well, and I'll see you around.